Hey everyone, welcome to our show Timeout. I'm your host Trey with my co-host, my brother Noah Avant. This is a two-man webcast that discusses sports and entertainment. Before we begin, don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe to the Boca Raton Tribune on all social media platforms. Just look for @Boca Tribune on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. You can also follow the show on Instagram at _timeout7. Huddle up, it's time for a timeout. No, before we get into the NFL, I wanted to say, I don't know if you noticed this, but when the show started, you were walking around and then you were in your seat. It looked like you teleported. Honestly, it was really funny.
Honestly, because I'm a Super Saiyan. I have instant transmission. I don't know if I told you that or not.
It was crazy. I was like, how? Because you were walking around and you were in your seat. I was like, whoa.
Hey,
This
you
man
need a
just
sensu bean. Eat a sensu bean. You can do this.
teleported.
You said,
Hey,
uh-oh.
I gotta get me one. I gotta get me one.
Get you a sensu bean, bro, and just get you a hyperbolic chamber and it's just chilling there, bro. And boom.
Hopefully, man, I gotta get me one. But let's get into the NFL. Week 12 of the 2020 NFL season has wrapped up. Here are some of the results. The Dolphins beat the Jets. The Saints beat the Broncos. The Packers beat the Bears. And the Seahawks beat the Eagles. What did you think about this week's games?
Everything was pretty cut and dry. I kind of feel bad for the Broncos. Shout out to Kendall Hinton, 919 legend, Southern Durham alumni. We played him in high school, actually. I played him in high school. He sent us
You
home.
played him or you played his team?
We played him. Him. He beat us. They won this team. It was he himself.
Okay.
Kendall was a very gifted athlete at Southern Durham. I mean, the team was good, but they sent us home in high school. So I mean, you gotta give them credit. But let's talk about these Dolphins, my boys, my fans. They beat on the Jets. So that leaves us at what 7-4?
Yeah, Dolphins are 7-4, I believe.
7-4. I mean, we're looking promising. We're looking real promising for that wild card spot. But
yeah, and the Raiders lost. That was really big for the Dolphins.
We got to go out there and win this week. We really can't afford to drop any games because we have the Chiefs coming up next week, correct?
Next week we play the Bengals.
Next week we play the Bengals. I know the Chiefs are coming up soon though.
Yeah.
So we need to win these next couple games, win as many of these pickup games as we can, because that Chiefs game, if we can win that's like, as Dolphin fans, I feel like our heads should be like this big.
Yeah, but that Chiefs game gonna be rough, man.
You said what?
That Chiefs game is gonna be rough. You seen what Tyreek Hill did? He scored like 2 touchdowns in the first quarter.
Yeah,
he had 200 yards in the first quarter.
Yeah, but we have one of the best DBs in the league.
True. But Howard gonna have a hard time though.
Bro got 7 interceptions this year.
He does have 7 interceptions.
He got an interception for every game we won.
True.
So I mean,
it's gonna be a really fun game. Hopefully, they don't blow us out and stuff. But it's gonna be if it's close, it's gonna be fun.
Oh yeah. So what did you think about this week's games?
Dolphins beat the Jets. That was expected. I think it's pretty clear that Fitzpatrick is not the guy for the Dolphins. He played good. He did play good, but he just takes too many chances, and a lot of times those chances don't work out. And that's why he's been on so many teams throughout his whole career.
Okay, but can I give you a perspective? You get benched after having a pretty good start to the year. You're by a rookie. This rookie is now sitting because their team is scared that he's going to get hurt again because your offensive line tends not to perform to the standard that you need them to at times. Are you not going to take chances to show them, hey, look, I really can do this?
I mean, yeah, but at the same time, that's always been his play style, no matter what situation he's been in. He's always been that type of guy that I'm gonna just sling it and whatever happens. He's not. I mean, Brett Favre is the same way, but that's Brett Favre. Brett Favre is basically not Justice Winslow, Jameis Winston, but better. He'll throw like 33 touchdowns and 30 interceptions. That what I'm saying? Ryan Fitzpatrick like that.
Trey, that was a very bad comparison.
It was a very bad comparison. As I was saying, I was like, what am I saying?
Okay, I was like, I know you
I
don't.
was like, I had to keep going with it. I had to keep running with it. I was like, I already said it. I might as well just try to defend it. But you know what I'm trying to say. He's very consistent.
Yeah, definitely.
Very, very high risk, but he's also high reward at times as well.
Mm-hmm. I mean, when I feel like when you're those type of quarterbacks, it really just depends on the defense that you're facing. Like if you play against a team that coverage, the DBs may not be the best, the safety might be a little lack, or their box presence may not be as apparent, so you're not really getting rushed as much. So you might think you could eyeball it in there here and there, but when you're threading that needle, it's real hard. You really got to be precise. You wanna sit it there, you want to thread it just right, because if you slightly overdo it, that ball's going the other way.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, you can't do that against like the Steelers defense or
absolutely not.
like that. But the Saints and the Broncos, I wanted to say the NFL did the Broncos dirty.
Absolutely.
They did them dirty. They did them dirty. Like, I understand your quarterback room has all been infected with coronavirus or at least in close contact with someone with coronavirus. But man, you couldn't delay the game. I mean, they did the same thing for the Ravens, but they didn't delay the Ravens game. I mean, they did delay the Ravens game. Like
they did.
3 times. They did it 3 times, but they couldn't do that with the Broncos.
I even heard they asked for the assistant coach to line up at quarterback.
Yeah, I understand why the NFL said no. They're like, bro, you can't get this coach and say, hey, he's not on the team. He's not on the team.
Well, why not?
Because
I mean, look, listen, hear me out. I know it sounds crazy to put your assistant coach out there at quarterback, but wouldn't that be like the best option to have?
I mean, he probably hasn't played football in a while.
Obviously, he has if he wanted to go out there and play.
I mean, who's to say he wanted to go out there and play? Maybe the coach was like, hey, we need you out there. You played quarterback in college, right? You're like, yeah. Who he said, okay, all right, cool. We need you out there.
But I don't see why it's an issue. If Andy Reid want to go out there and line up at nose tackle, why not let him go out there and line up at nose tackle?
Listen, the NFL doesn't like fun. I would love to see it. I just want to see what he would do. But let's say if he was their first option over Kendall Hinton, then I mean, like I wanted to see what he could do because apparently he was their first option. And then the NFL was like, no, you can't do that. So they had to go with someone else. So maybe he's actually pretty good.
You listen, see that now I got you thinking. Now you see what I'm saying.
Maybe he's actually pretty good. We just don't know it.
Now you talking my language. See, bro, I'm saying why not? Why not?
I mean, I would love to see what the NFL is like. No, I mean, it's whatever. I mean, it's not gonna happen again. They're gonna have Drew Lock back and whatnot. So
yeah.
I mean, unless another team has that problem.
Yeah.
Like the Ravens got that problem right now, kind of. I mean, they still had 2 quarterbacks left over, but
I mean, I look at last year when Pittsburgh cleared the roster on their quarterback. Like Ben was hurt, Mason Rudolph was racist and got concussions. They traded Josh Dobbs and got ducked off the practice squad. Like at some point, I really feel like the NFL, because this is starting to become a prevalent thing. Like it happened with the Cowboys this year. It happened with the Broncos down. It potentially could happen to the Ravens. Like, why not have it where you just look, if you're down the position, go ahead. Do what you got to do. Make it work. Mm-hmm. Because you could honestly say, well, Kendall's a good athlete. He's a great athlete. Well, why not put somebody back there who actually had experience at quarterback? I don't know much about.
He did have experience at quarterback. He played quarterback in college.
Better experience. I should say better experience.
But the coach that they wanted to play also played quarterback in college. So I mean, either way,
he's a coach. That's what you want. You want a coach out there.
But he's not on the field. He's not playing for a reason.
That's not the point.
There's a reason he's a coach, not a player.
Or he could have never had the opportunity.
I mean, I guess, but again, if he was really that good, they would say, you know what, we're not gonna let you coach. We actually need you to play. I know what's the Eagles, I believe, they have Josh McCown on the practice squad, but they have him at the crib. They have him at home. You know,
they got Hurts. The Eagles have Hurts. They need to be playing.
I'm just saying this as an example.
Oh, true.
They have Josh McCown at home. Maybe more teams should do that. They should have like a player basically at home, like a practice squad player they have at home, just in case anything happens to their whole position group. They could just start this player. You know,
that's valid.
They can attend the team meetings on Zoom and whatnot. You know, they go work out from home, I guess, or whatever. Just when we need you, we'll give you a plane and get you into the building.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I can see it. I think, since we're talking about the Eagles definitely need to start, need to go ahead and give Jalen some snaps. They need to give him some more snaps in practice because Carson Wentz is not it. I don't know why they keep thinking this guy is it. When they got rid of Nick Foles, I was really looking at their front office like, what are y'all doing? What the heck are you doing?
I was watching the game. It's just Carson Wentz, he's not that good right now. And also he doesn't have a lot of help, no running backs, no offensive line. The moment the ball was snapped, the defensive line was already breaking through the offensive line. And he was throwing an interception or he was fumbling or he was on his back. And they said, oh, Jalen Hurts is going to play more snaps. Jalen Hurts is going to play more snaps. He played 2 snaps the whole game. So you drafted a quarterback in the second round, but they have no plan for him. They don't know how to use him.
I mean, listen, Jalen Hurts is a single reason why I'm not a Pittsburgh Steelers fan anymore. So watching this happen and go down is hilarious to me because what they have is a diamond just sitting there waiting. Jalen Hurts, the moment Jalen Hurts gets on the team or gets in the game with this team and they give him offensive alignment, they're going to have a franchise player.
Now, he threw one pass and completed it.
He's a great quarterback, bro. It's not even about his one pass. You can look at his skill set, his work ethic. Like, bro, when Jalen Hurts get into a game and he's actually the starting quarterback and they have players, like they actually are putting their faith in him, he's going to play all 4 down or all 3 downs, given, I guess, a 4th down on the drive. They're going for it. He plays all 4 quarters. I promise you they're going to see way more positive results out of that guy, out of their team.
Mm-hmm.
But they got to get guys that can catch the ball too, because their receivers are track stars, but their hands really are.
Nah, I was looking at when I was looking at the game. I noticed their first round pick, Jalen Reagor, the one who they drafted over Justin Jefferson and Chase Claypool, a whole bunch of other receivers. He's not very good at all.
He got to be able to catch the ball. They have track stars, like
he's really fast. He's fast.
All of them are really fast. They have very fast receivers. They just can't catch.
Exactly.
They couldn't catch Corona if they were sitting in a room with a bunch of effective people.
They should have drafted out him. They should have drafted Justin Jefferson. They need an offensive line. They better focus on the offensive line because, man, whoever starts next year, wins, hurts, they need the offensive line because neither quarterback going to survive with that offensive line.
Yeah.
Darius, I'm sorry, go on.
Honestly, I agree. I'm agreeing with you. They need an offensive line, but it's a lot of teams. We need an offensive line in Miami.
Yeah, but offensive line is not as bad as theirs.
Oh, God, no. Nobody's as bad as them. So,
I think Wentz has been sacked the league high, I think 30-some times.
They stink. I feel bad because honestly, I thought the Eagles were gonna probably be the best team in that division. Other than I thought it would be the Cowboys and then them.
Yeah, look at it, it's Giants.
Right, the Giants with Daniel Dimes as their quarterback. It's hilarious to me that Daniel Dimes, a Duke quarterback, is literally the quarterback for a team that's number 1 in the division in the NFL. That's hilarious to me.
But doesn't this seem familiar? Because listen, Danny Dimes is basically Eli Manning, and when you win the division, you're automatically in the playoffs.
Whoa.
Eli Manning.
Whoa.
Has won 2 Super Bowls.
Whoa.
Being on a trash Giants team. I'm saying, Danny Dimes, if he plays the right teams, this man can win a Super Bowl.
Yeah, right. I'll walk out of this podcast right now What are you smoking? What are you saying?
I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
Are you
It's very similar to those teams in the past.
Trey? Are
It's
you
very similar to those Giants teams.
Do you not know how good Eli was back in the day?
Eli Manning was a good quarterback, but he's very.
better than Daniel Dimes. He's better than last year.
I mean, we know that, but I'm saying like Eli is a pretty average QB.
Okay, Trey. If Eli is your definition of average, Daniel Dimes has better be below average because they're not.
He is below average.
Okay, all right. Just making sure.
I'm saying like Eli Manning, he has like I can look at his stats real quick because we're getting kind of off topic, but like he has never missed a game due to durability and whatnot. But he has like I can't pull it up right now, but I believe he had like 100. I believe he had like 115 wins and 115 losses and stuff. The same amount of interceptions and touchdowns, or at least close to it. Pretty average as a QB. But that's besides the point. Speaking of the NFC East, I believe it is. DK Metcalf destroyed the Eagles.
That's as Calvin Johnson Jr. I don't know how many times I need to say this. He has the body. He has this physical, the attributes to be Calvin Johnson, Megatron Jr. Like he's really a problem.
I've seen Jim Schwartz. He was the head coach of the Lions back when he had Calvin Johnson and whatnot. He's the defensive coordinator of the Eagles. He was like, "Hey, DK, you're a really good receiver, but you're not on Megatron's level yet."
Mm-hmm.
DK was like, "Okay." 10 catches for 177 yards.
Like, bro, you can't take it. I feel like DK takes that type of stuff and he just uses it as fuel. He's too good of a receiver for you not to see his greatness. He's just too good not to see his greatness.
I still don't know how he fell to the second round. Like I was looking at him during the season at Ole Miss, during the pre-draft, the draft combine. I was like, he's the best receiver in the draft for sure. And then he fell to the second round because they were like, oh, he's big and fast, but he's not quick. He can't run routes and stuff. And I'm like, he had one of the best receiving seasons in his rookie year. And he leads the NFL in receiving yards in his second year in the NFL. You see him through the first 20-something games in the NFL, they compared him and Calvin Johnson. He has more receptions, more yards, and more touchdowns than Calvin Johnson.
Trey, that guy, the Seattle Seahawks saw him in the draft and they said, like, because how do you have what receiver? Like, bro,
you can't guard him.
He's at the receiver spot. What do you want more?
Exactly. You can't cover him.
From him. That's the thing. You're not going to take the ball from him. Let's be honest here. Let's literally look at most of these DBs that's sitting up here on the opposite side of him. Most of these guys are going to be around my height, maybe a couple inches taller. So they're sitting around between the heights of 5'10" to 6 foot, maybe even 6'1", right? This man DK 6'2", he's stocky and he can run. You're not going to stop that. You have to double him over the top. Your safety has to be on his stuff over top because otherwise it's going to look just like the Eagles game. Like the Eagles game every time. If you look at the games where he's neutralized, how are they playing him?
I don't know. You tell me.
They're playing him. They're jamming him off the line. They're in his chest, and they're suffocating him every time. That is the only way you can do that.
I would say the only times he's really neutralized is because they also have Tyler Lockett, and then Russell Wilson just chooses to go to Tyler Lockett, who's also a really good receiver.
But, I mean, they're also playing him good. You have to play him well. You have to have that help over the top. If you stop Tyler Lockett, that's your only other option. If you had a good DB on him, you could double him.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's just basic football. But it's hard, but it's a lot easier said than done because the Seahawks passing game is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah.
But I believe we got a commercial, Trey.
Yes, we do. You are watching Timeout with the Avant Bros. If you enjoy the show, please click the share button to share the stream with all your friends. Also, don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe to the Boca Raton Tribune on all social media platforms. YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Just look for @Boca Tribune. You can also follow the show on Instagram at @the_timeout7. See you soon. Welcome back, everyone. We're switching gears to the college football. Week 13 of the college football season has passed, and here are some of the results. Number 2, Notre Dame beat number 19, North Carolina. Number 1, Alabama beat number 22, Auburn. Number 3, Clemson beat Pittsburgh. Number 5, Texas A&M beat LSU. Number 6, Florida beat Kentucky. Michigan State upset number 8, Northwestern. And number 9, Georgia beat South Carolina. Noah, what did you think about these week's games?
Let's go ahead and I'm gonna dive into this Clemson and Pittsburgh game. Trevor Lawrence played like an absolute baller this week. I mean, he was going crazy in that game. Did you see that game?
I did not see that game, but enlighten me on what happened.
Bro threw dimes left and right. He just like it's like he had a pocket full of change, and he was just like, "You get a dime, you get a dime, you get a dime." You get it. He was just throwing dots out there. Like you don't get better than that. Like I'm trying to figure out what is he going to do. Like is he going to enter in this year's draft because he's playing like a number 1 draft pick? Honestly, I love Justin Fields, but it's just like I can't see how the Jets would pick him over Trevor Lawrence. Like how he's playing right now. I think he even rushed for a couple yards too. Like he was going stupid. He was going crazy out there. Like that guy, he's playing like a number 1 draft pick. I even checked out your boy Trask, and he's a problem. Like these guys are playing very well. It's going to be interesting to see.
This is a very good class for quarterback.
It really is. Like if I'm a team that's in dire need of a quarterback, this is the draft to get him. This is your time. This is the time. This is the pure time to get him because, wow. What did you think?
Well, the Alabama game was really good. Alabama beat down on Auburn.
That was not a good game. I was about to say that was not a good game.
I'm just saying they beat down on Auburn. You know that was to be expected. But no, Northwestern, they got upset by Michigan State. I believe it was 29-20.
Mm-hmm.
So they're out of the top 10. You know, Georgia beat South Carolina. Do you think Georgia deserves to be in the top 10? I mean, it doesn't really matter because you got to be top 4 in order to go to the playoffs. So 5 through 10 doesn't really matter. But do you think that Georgia even deserves to be number 9?
I mean, bro, you got to think about it. They're probably in the hardest conference in the league. I mean, in the NFL. I mean, oh my God, not the NFL, but NCAA. They had the hardest conference in the NFL. Oh my goodness, they had the hardest conference
in the nation.
Right, in the nation, they have the toughest conference. I don't see many. I mean, you could argue the Big Ten. Mm-hmm. You could even argue Pac-10, maybe some years. But who else? Like who else really compares with the SEC?
Not too many teams. Not too many conferences.
You know what I'm saying? Like even ACC, the ACC is not even as good. And then these are known conferences. It's just like the SEC. When it comes down to football, these guys are the ACC of football. That's the best way to put it. And honestly, for all sports, if you really want to be technical, the SEC is probably the most balanced for football, basketball, baseball. SEC.
Yeah, they're pretty good at every sport.
Yeah, I mean, their schools just have really good sports programs. So when you look at it like that, and I look at Georgia, I'm not surprised. I'm really not surprised. Because look at,
okay.
Look at it. Look at the teams that's in there. You got South Carolina, you got Alabama, you got Auburn, you got Florida, Georgia, LSU. Like, these are tough teams. Kentucky. Well, not so much Kentucky football, but you get what I'm saying. Like, these are tough teams. These are good programs.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of lineage comes from these programs. So, I mean, you gotta look at it from that angle.
Yeah. Well, before we go on to the next topic, I wanted to get your thoughts on North Carolina losing Notre Dame.
Trey, why do you always do this? Like, what do you get from this? What do you gain from that?
Well, listen, I'm putting you down right now, but I'm gonna pick you up in a second.
I don't want to be put down. This is not what brothers do, Trey.
I'm gonna pick you up in a big way in a second. I just want to get your thoughts on the game.
I hated it. I hated it. Like, I'm so Carolina started out good, but at the end of the day, it's Notre Dame. They're number 2 in the nation. Like, yeah. North Carolina is going to have a good football program. They have a very good football program this year. Their team, I ain't gonna say this year. The program is good traditionally. Well, not traditionally. Overall, the football program is good. This year, the team is good. They're not great. They're a very good team, but they're not a great team. Mm-hmm. And that's what it comes down to. When you're in the top 4, you're a great football team. You are a great football team. That's all it is to it. They're not great, but they're really good. Like, I'd put Carolina against Michigan State. They win. Heck, I might even roll a dice and I put them against Georgia. You know, I think they're a really good team. But when you're playing Notre Dame, the number 2 team in the nation, you think, and they're fighting to stay in this top 4 because out of that top 4, they're the ones most likely to bounce. Yeah, no, you're not beating that team. You're not. Those guys. That's just all it is. Like, those guys are hungry. They're playing for a lot more. Carolina does not have a chance to make it to the top 4. They don't. That's not going to happen. But
I agree with your analysis.
Notre Dame, on the other hand, they do. So you got to look at it like that. You know, in football, that's just the type of program it is.
Yeah. But we're going to move on to a new topic. We haven't discussed this before. We're moving on to college basketball. Here are some of the results of the games played on December 1st, because, you know, there's a game like pretty much every day. You know, we can't really go through it like that. So December 1st was yesterday, so we're going to talk about it like that. North Carolina A&T beat Charleston Southern.
Right?
So I'm telling you, I was picking you up. Number 4, Wisconsin beat Green Bay. Number 8, Michigan State beat number 6, Duke. Number 7, Kansas beat number 20, Kentucky. Number 9, Creighton beat Omaha. Number 12, Villanova beat Hartford. Number 15, Virginia beat St. Francis. Number 17, Texas beat Indiana. Number 14, North Carolina beat Stanford. And Oklahoma State beat Marquette. I'm putting Oklahoma State in there because they have Cade Cunningham, who's most likely going to be the first pick in the draft. But no, what are your thoughts when watching this first week of college basketball?
Of course, I want to talk about my future alma mater, my Aggies. We're 2-2 right now. We dropped a game earlier. We dropped a couple games earlier this year. We had a tough loss against the number 8 Illinois team, and that was kind of given. But they played good. I will give them that. Shout out to Fred Cleveland, sophomore out of I believe he's from Chicago. Guy had 15 points off the bench the other day. Guy is a pure bucket. Ty Lyons with 12. He was a bucket as well. Like, these guys, like the A&T's basketball team, and I'm honestly predicting this, they're probably going to win the MEAC. This is probably going to be the 1 year we're going to beat Central. Like we really have some guys on our team that are here to play. Cam Langley, I'm glad he came back. He went on ahead and he withdrew his spot from the draft, and he elected to come back for his senior year. Like, we really have some guys on this team that are absolute dogs, and it's going to be interesting to see what we do in the future. What about you, Trey? What game stood out to you this week?
Duke losing to Michigan State.
Really? Are you surprised about that? Why?
Well, Duke is number 6 in the nation. You know, they are on paper a better team than Michigan State.
What does that have to do with anything?
I'm just saying, on paper they're a better team than Michigan State. So I believe that was a little bit surprising. I also believe that Kentucky, even though they're number 20 in the nation, I think they're a slightly better team than Kansas.
No.
Just pure talent wise.
No.
Them losing to Kansas, a little shocking. Just when you see Duke and Kentucky, you just don't expect them to lose. It's just kind of rare,
I mean, Kentucky, not so much. I can agree. I mean, Kentucky, I can kind of agree with, like, yeah, I'm not really used to seeing them lose. But then I haven't seen Kentucky at number 20th in the nation either. But
it's been a while.
Duke University in Durham, yes, absolutely. I expect them to lose every time. You want to know why? Duke has a history of being this super duper team and just blowing it to other teams that they are head and shoulders better than.
You just don't like Duke.
It's not that I don't like Duke. I just look at their team and look at their history. That's what they do. They'll have these super great teams and then they'll choke in the end. I'm just glad they're choking now. Maybe they'll do something in the tournament. But it's just like, look at it like this. Lehigh. What did they do?
You mean CJ McCollum?
One player? You gonna get beat by one player? They had one of the best recruiting classes in the league in the nation that year.
I mean, all they had really was Austin Rivers.
Next, Mercer, Jabari Parker was on that team.
I can't explain that. They just folded. They just folded. Can't explain that.
I say that to say this. They have Jeremy Roach on this team, and apparently Jeremy Roach is supposedly better than Caleb Love and all this. Listen, Duke is a very prestigious basketball program. If one day when your nephews are older, our nieces, when they're older, well, I don't really know about Duke's women basketball team, so I'm gonna keep it the men's. But at either rate, if they get an offer from Duke, I'd hope that they take it. I really would. But if Coach Roy were to just come on down to the neighborhood, knock on that door, ring the doorbell, they better not go to Duke. Duke basketball program is known to fold. They will fold like a cookout plate that has too much food on it. They're just going every time. I cannot wait for them to play North Carolina this year. That's going to be the biggest game of the year, as it is every year. My boys won. I'm just saying, like when it comes down to Duke, it doesn't matter who they have. If that team is too good, they're going to lose. They're going to drop games that you do not think they will drop. They're going to drop those games. Mm-hmm. I don't know why. I truly do not know why. I don't know the formula behind it, but they're going to drop those games. Remember, even when they had Zion, they almost lost to UCF.
That was a funny game.
It was a very good game to watch, but they lost to UCF.
It happens, though. It happens. College basketball, the world of college basketball.
It's every time, though.
All right, North Carolina hasn't won the championship in forever. Actually, no, not forever. It's been a couple years.
Yeah, watch him out.
It's been a couple years.
Yeah, it's been a couple years. Watch him out.
But let's move on to the next topic. I'll say you win that conversation. Let's move on to the next topic real quick. We're going to go out of bounds. What are your thoughts on the Nate Robinson, Jake Paul, and Mike Tyson, Roy Jones Jr. fights?
Did I do my Nate Robinson impersonation right?
Oh, I mean, you got to get a little bit lower, but I understand what you're trying to do.
Yo, Nate Robinson got dropped like Andy was coming. Like, it's like Jake Paul hit him. He's like, Andy's coming.
Honestly, okay, I was thinking before the fight, I was like, man, what if Nate Robinson loses?
I mean, look. I mean, honestly, Trey, you watch fighting. You know how these fights supposed to work. If you look at how Nate Robinson was fighting this man, you should not be surprised.
I didn't watch the fight. I just watched
the whole fight. It was just like this, and he was just swinging. Yeah, of course he's gonna get knocked out.
Honestly, I think it was a little. I think it was a little rigged though.
No, rule of thumb, kids. If y'all are ever in a fight, we don't encourage fighting. But if y'all are ever in a fight, move your head. Move your head. He knocked him down the first time. He got up. Head still stayed on center line. Dropped him again. Now he went to sleep. That's real. You don't do that. Look at Mike Tyson and Roy Jones when they fought. What was the movement like?
I mean, they're professional boxers. It's different. But speaking of that fight, even though it's a draw, who do you think won?
Mike Tyson.
I didn't watch it either, but I heard Mike Tyson pretty much won the fight. But they couldn't give it to Mike. They couldn't give it to him. Two legends. It made sense.
If Mike Tyson fought that man like he normally should, it would have been over. But that's not the case. So, Grandma, hey Grandma, can I record my show, please? I'm not.
I was gonna give you the dog. Yeah, what you said. Come get your dog.
You gotta love the just random interferences in the show. I really feel like that's what makes our show good. You just gotta have the random interferences. One day it's my uncle, the next day it's my grandma. Hey, and then here and there you got Snoop.
It is what it is. But
it is what it is.
Let's move on to the hot takes. I believe that the Ravens will not make the playoffs. They're not playing too well right now. They're playing the Steelers right now. It's 12-7. Pittsburgh is up. I just don't think the Ravens are good enough to make the playoffs the way they're playing right now. It's just not looking too good for them. What's your hot take, Noah?
I mean, Trey, hold on, though. It's on the third quarter. Well, 14 minutes left.
It is third quarter.
A touchdown gives the Ravens the lead. Come on.
I'm talking about just in general.
Okay.
What's your hot take, Noah? What's your hot take?
My hot take, Bam Adebayo is a top 5 center in the league. I mean, I know it's been a lot of backlash, about this massive extension he's gotten. But you have got to look at it like this. While he averaged 15 and 10 in a regular season, his performance went up in the playoffs. And I believe it was Shaquille O'Neal who said it. You want players whose numbers get better in the playoffs. So that way you can get to a championship. And if you look at it, it works. Jimmy Butler, his performance went up. Goran Dragic, his numbers went up. Bam's numbers went up. You want guys that's going to be able to perform at the next level. Bam is clearly one of those guys. I mean, granted, he's only been in the league for 3 years. This is his 4th season coming up. But Bam Adebayo is a top 5 center in the league. That's not a debate. If you're a stat sheet watcher, you're not going to agree, and it's going to show because you're going to watch the stat sheet. It's more than basketball than just your stats. It's how you use those stats, how you play. I want a guy that's going to perform in the postseason, not a guy that's going to give me 82 games, and that's it. He's going to tap out at the end because that's what we have with Kendrick Nunn. But, I mean, that's all I got.
Okay, I feel you on that. But all right, guys, that's it for today's show. Don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe to the Boca Raton Tribune on all social media platforms, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Just look for @Boca Tribune. You can also follow us on Instagram at @the_timeout7. Follow me on my personal Twitter at TreyAvant3.
You can follow me at ArcBuilderNo on Instagram and follow me on Twitter at WhoBuildsArcs. They're down there. Holla at your boy.
Holla at your boys. Timeout airs every Thursday at 7 p.m. As always, this is the Avant Bros signing off.
Information. If it exists in writing, we print it. If it exists online, we update it. If it exists on mobile, we notify. If it exists in video, we show it. If it exists in audio, we play it. In the past, the news had to wait for a paper to print for it to happen. Today, news happens in real time. It's analyzed, edited, and published immediately by us, your neighbors, and of course, you. Wherever you are, you write, edit, give opinions, share photos, and make the news happen. This is why a paper needs to be on print, on screen, and on your phone. Wherever you are, your news has its pulse in the community. The Boca Raton Tribune. We are much more than just a newspaper. We are your closest neighbor.